feeling like you need a secret weapon sometimes to understand all these complex project methodologies without, drowning in articles.
Definitely. It can feel overwhelming.
Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into three ideas that, well, they really shape how effective teams work now: Scrum, Radical Candor, and the Agile Manifesto.
Yeah, what's really interesting is how they intersect. They each have a different main job, sort of, but they all offer this crucial perspective on modern projects and team dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
We've looked at, articles on tools, guides to Scrum and Agile, a YouTube tutorial, blogs, the definition of radical candor
Right, pulled it all together.
to kind of distill the essence for you.
Exactly. So our mission today isn't just like definitions, it's to get to the core power of each one, figure out what's really important, and maybe even find some surprising connections without the info overload.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with Scrum. That's the one most people will probably associate with, iterative work.
Right. Scrum, fundamentally, it's a pretty lightweight framework. Its real emphasis, as you see in the sources, is on, well, teamwork, collaboration,
Hmm.
always prioritizing based on value, and crucially, working in these fixed time periods called sprints.
Time boxing.
Exactly. Time
Yeah.
boxing, usually, a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It creates focus.
Keeps things moving, prevents that endless sprawl.
Right. And you tackle a big challenge in these focus bursts.
And the structure comes from these things Scrum calls artifacts. Yeah. The tools the team uses.
Precisely. First up, you've got the product backlog. Think of it as the master list, everything that might go into the product.
Okay.
But it's dynamic. The product owner is constantly refining it, reordering it based on what's most valuable now,
So it changes.
constantly. Then for each sprint, the team pulls a chunk from the top of that list. That becomes the sprint backlog.
Ah, okay. So the work for this specific sprint.
Exactly. What they reckon they can get done in that time frame.
And that's often visualized on that Scrum board people see.
Yep, the classic board. Columns like to do, in progress, done, maybe stories, gives everyone that instant visual on progress.
Makes sense, transparency. And then there's the daily meeting.
Or daily scrum or stand up. It's meant to be short, like 15 minutes max.
This quick sync.
Yeah, for the dev team. What did I do yesterday? What
Yeah.
am I doing today? Any blockers?
Yeah.
It's not a status report to someone. It's for the team to coordinate and, well, get ahead of problems quickly.
Okay. And the last big piece.
The sprint review. End of the sprint, the team shows what they actually built the working increment to stakeholders.
Get that feedback.
Absolutely critical. That feedback feeds right back into refining the product backlog for the next sprint. It's that constant loop.
Right. So Scrum is really a specific way to do agile project management, isn't it? That iterative, adaptive piece.
Exactly. The Atlassian article frames it well that way. It also mentions the 3 pillars of Scrum. Remember those?
Transparency, inspection, adaptation.
You got it. Transparency, everyone sees what's going on. Inspection, regularly checking how things are progressing. Adaptation, adjusting based on what you find. They're like the guiding principles for how the team operates day to day.
Okay. And Scrum values were mentioned too, though maybe less detail there. But something from the scrum.org blog really stood out to me: accountability.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It argued that Scrum, done right, creates way more accountability than, say, Waterfall, because a whole team owns delivering value, not just individuals finishing tasks.
That is a huge distinction. It shifts the focus to shared ownership of the outcomes.
Right.
And that Scrum.org source also stresses how top teams constantly measure the impact on customers. They use that data to learn, adjust, and get better at hitting those valuable outcomes.
So progress isn't just about ticking off tasks.
No, it's about delivering usable value incrementally. Each sprint adds another piece, building towards that bigger product goal.
And there was a connection to DevOps too, wasn't there, from AWS?
Yeah, that because Scrum teams are already cross-functional and iterative, they're often well-positioned to adopt DevOps practices. Breaking down those walls between dev and ops for smoother delivery.
Okay, so Scrum gives us this powerful framework for iterative work, but what about the human element, the communication within the team? That seems crucial.
Absolutely essential.
Mhm.
And that leads us perfectly into radical candor.
Ah, Kim Scott's concept.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot, as she puts it, saying what you think, being direct, while also giving a damn about the person you're saying it to.
Caring personally.
Exactly. Honest and kind. It's not always easy, but it's powerful.
And the framework has those 4 quadrants, right? To help understand the different ways feedback can land.
The ideal, of course, is radical candor itself. top right quadrant, that's where you care personally and you challenge directly.
So the feedback feels kind, clear, specific, helpful?
Precisely. It comes from a good place. Then diagonally opposite in a bad way is manipulative insincerity.
Bottom left, not caring personally, not challenging directly.
Yeah, this is the really toxic stuff. Fake praise, talking behind people's backs, passive aggression creates a horrible environment.
Definitely want to avoid that one. What about the others?
Okay, so top left, you have obnoxious aggression, sometimes called brutal honesty.
Or front stabbing, I've heard.
Right. Here, you challenge directly, but you don't care personally. The feedback feels harsh, maybe personal. Praise feels fake. It just erodes trust.
Yeah, not great. And the last one, bottom right.
Ruinous empathy. This one trips a lot of people up because it feels nice. You care personally, but you don't challenge directly.
So you sugarcoat things, or just stay silent.
Exactly. You want to spare their feelings, right? But the radical candor folks argue this is ultimately damaging. You're withholding information they need to grow or improve. It might feel kind short-term, but it's unhelpful long-term.
That's a really key insight, that sometimes challenging directly is the most caring thing to do.
If it comes from that place of genuinely wanting to help them succeed, yes. Ruinous empathy seems kind, but it holds people back.
Okay, so Scrum for the process, radical candor for the feedback. What's the underpinning philosophy? That's the Agile Manifesto, right?
Exactly. It's the foundation. The Agile Manifesto, it's got those 4 core values and 12 principles. Came out of software development initially, but its ideas have spread, well, everywhere.
Let's hit those 4 values first. They're pretty fundamental.
Okay. Number 1, individuals and interactions over processes and tools.
Yeah.
People first. Collaboration matters more than rigid rules or specific software.
Makes sense. Empower the team.
2, working software over comprehensive documentation. Focus on delivering something that actually works and provides value rather than just writing tons of docs about it.
Get something usable out there.
3, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Work with the customer throughout, constantly, instead of locking everything down in a contract up front and hoping for the best.
Keeps things aligned with what they actually need.
And 4, responding to change over following a plan. This is huge. Be ready and willing to adapt when things change, because they always do, rather than sticking blindly to the original plan.
Flexibility, adaptability. So those 4 values together really push for efficiency and making the customer happy.
Absolutely. And then flowing from those values are the 12 principles. We probably don't need to list all 12 verbatim, but some are really key.
Yeah, let's highlight a few. Like the first one, customer satisfaction through early and continuous delivery. Get value to them quickly and keep it coming.
Right. And number 2 builds on that. Welcome changing requirements, even late. Agile embraces change. Breaking work down small makes this possible.
And the third one, frequent delivery in shorter timeframes. That drives higher performance, doesn't it? Teams get into a rhythm.
Definitely. Then number 4, business people and developers working together daily. Breaking down those silos, ensuring everyone's on the same page.
Crucial. And number 5 is about motivated individuals. Give them support and trust them. The opposite of micromanagement.
Exactly. Trust is key. Principle 7 reinforces the value. Working software is the primary measure of progress. Not reports, not plans, but actual working stuff.
Get prototypes out. Get user feedback.
Principle 8 is important too. Sustainable pace. Avoid burnout. Overworked teams don't deliver good value long term.
So important. What else stands out?
9, technical excellence enhances agility. Good design, good code quality, makes it easier to change things later. 10 is about simplicity. Don't overcomplicate things. Maximize the work not done.
Love that one. Keep it lean.
11 talks about self-organizing teams making the best decisions. And 12 brings it all together. Regular reflection and adaptation. Teams need to pause, look at how they're working, and adjust. Continuous improvement.
That reflection piece seems vital. So the manifesto really paints a picture of a responsive, resilient way of working.
It does. And it stresses things like face-to-face or equivalent remote communication for building trust.
And shifting focus from just planning deliverables to planning around valuable customer outcomes.
Yes. And involving the client super closely, like the product owner role in Scrum, avoids delays, and just makes a better product. Using roadmaps to communicate the plan, testing early and often with real users.
Getting that real-world feedback.
Right. It acknowledges the tension with fixed budgets and deadlines, but argues that being realistic about uncertainty and adapting often yields better results in the end. Maybe a light plan, moving away from rigid deadlines. It's about trust and delivering value.
Okay, wow. So we have Scrum's framework, Radical Candor's communication style, and the manifesto's principles. Let's really connect these dots now. How do they actually work together?
Well, think about radical candor inside a Scrum team. Those daily stand-ups, sprint reviews, especially the retrospectives, they rely on honest feedback.
Ah, so Radical Candor provides the how for that feedback.
Exactly. It gives you the tools to make that feedback direct, kind, and actually useful so the team can inspect and adapt effectively. It helps nip problems in the bud.
Makes sense. Without it, those ceremonies could just be motions you go through.
Totally. And then you see how agile principles like customer collaboration and responding to change are just baked into Scrum structure. The sprints, the reviews, the backlog refinement.
So Scrum is like a practical application of Agile values.
In many ways, yes, it provides concrete practices, and fostering that radical candor culture, that directly supports the manifesto's emphasis on individuals and interactions and building trust in those self-organizing teams.
Because people feel safe to speak up, challenge things constructively.
Right, they take more ownership. It creates a much healthier, more open environment.
Now, what about other tools like Gantt charts came up? Do they have a place in Agile?
It's interesting, right? While maybe something like Jira Plans is better for really complex stuff, a simple Gantt chart can still be useful, even in Agile, for visualizing timelines, dependencies. It aids visibility.
So use the tool that fits the need.
Precisely. Same with user personas from that YouTube tutorial. They feed directly into understanding value for the product backlog in Scrum,
Ensuring you're building the right thing for the user.
which is core to Agile. And then Radical Candor helps you have honest discussions about whether features actually meet those persona needs.
And RCI charts, clarity on roles.
Yeah, Forbes Advisor covered those. Maybe less critical in pure Scrum, where the team owns things collectively, but potentially useful in specific situations or larger projects where roles need clearer definition. Again, judicious application.
It's not about following dogma, then.
Not at all. It's about understanding the principles behind Scrum, Radical Candor, and Agile, and then adapting them intelligently to your team, your context.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. We've got Scrum, the iterative framework for getting work done. Radical Candor, the guide for communicating effectively, honestly, and kindly.
And the Agile Manifesto, the foundational values and principles driving adaptability and customer focus.
Understanding how these connect, how they can be applied. It really gives you a powerful toolkit, doesn't it?
It does. It helps you cut through the noise, get those aha moments, and feel, well, more capable of handling the complexities of modern work and teamwork, less overwhelmed, more empowered.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. How could bringing in just one small piece of this, maybe a daily stand-up, maybe trying one Radical Candor conversation, maybe focusing your team on just one Agile principle, how could that immediately make a positive difference in how you or your team works?
Worth considering. Remember, the deep dive is all about helping you get that deeper understanding. Thanks for tuning in.